are basically containing these children, and by the time the end of that school day happens, they have thrown wolf cookies all day, they have made threats, they've said, meet me after school, all of those things. Well, by the time school is out, they are ready to explode. And we have this going on over and over and over again. So that's what happened in this incident. Now, how do we solve this problem? We solve this problem by African American people making up their minds that they own their communities. The Chicago Public Schools need for our children to attend schools as much as our children need an education. However, none of the public officials, the mayor, the chief of police, the director of security, the CEO of the public schools can, have, or will ever protect our children. But we pay them to do that. And so since it's about the money, because every child that attends for public schools represents a dollar amount. And for every child that does not go to school, that specific dollar amount is extracted from what revenue the Chicago Public Schools would get, or the city of Chicago would get. So if our children, it's a B out here, if our children are not being protected, and we pay them to protect them, then maybe we better do what James Brown and others in their song said, we need to use what we got to get what we want. And I submit that if, in fact, another child in Chicago who attends a public school within the next 2 months is either maimed, pushed out, drops out, afraid to go, killed, that in mass, that the people of Chicago take their children out of the public school system. Now the question becomes, where do we begin? Well, in Chicago, like in most of our communities, you have probably, for every public school, you have 10 churches. And in most cases, churches are in walking distance to somebody's house. And I do recommend that right now, we need our children to go or have a safe haven to go to. Now that just simply means that the parents go to the schools, get the homework for a month. And every single day, we take our children to the closest church in their community. And the ministers who are so political in Chicago, they're so concerned about the politics and who's holding what office and who gets elected and all of that. I am certain they understand the value that our children are to our community. So I know that they will redirect their focus and ensure that their churches are open and available for the young people in their community to attend these alternative schools until certain demands are met. And what should those demands be? Well, they're obvious. Since 1989, when this mayor took office, we have had more children killed in the Chicago Public Schools than at any other time in the history of Chicago Public Schools. Since this mayor has taken office, more people have been shot and killed by the Chicago Police Department than at any time in the history of the Chicago Police Department. So at that point, the people should call for the resignation of the mayor. They should also call for the resignation of the police superintendent. They should call for the resignation of the CEO of the Chicago Public Schools, as well as the director of security for the Chicago Public Schools. And don't send your children back to school until your demands are met. Anything less than that is a surrender. And you are giving your children up to the powers that be, that they've already demonstrated they're not going to protect and cannot and will not protect your children. So that may appear to be radical to some people, and in fact it is, because the definition of radical is getting to the root. And it is time that we get to the root of this problem. And it is time that black people become once again empowered. Now, a lot of people are saying, well, why are you just saying black people, black people? Well, the last time I looked in Chicago, there has not been a child, not of color, killed by other children who attend the public school. there has not been a child or a human being of color, not of color, killed by the Chicago Police Department. So anybody who understands and empathizes with the black community, I think should join in this effort because of the fact that it really places a negative light on the entire society. And if we are civilized, as we claim we are, if we live in a city in one of the most highly industrialized, civilized societies in America, in the world, then I think everybody should join in and support. Because if we don't, this is going to go on. There are going to be more funerals, and we're going to look up, and our young black population will virtually be extinct. And if that happens, of course, we have no future. We have no future. Now, there's an economic side to this. I don't have to spell that out. If I said that for every child, they represent X amount of dollars, and if they're not there, and those X amount of dollars don't come into the system, I think that's a tremendous motivator for the politicians. They don't want to lose that money. They don't want to lose that money. And I am also saying that our people need to understand that you have to be prepared for your child to possibly stay out of school for a year. I mean, really, you're not breaking the law. You're not leaving them home alone. You're taking them to church. So with that, that's basically what we have to offer. We're solution-oriented, and at this point, if we want to change something, if we want to have offer solutions or have solutions, it's going to require sacrifice. Thank you very much.
Security and accuracy of the voting system has been validated by the independent Norwegian expert company Det Norske Veritas, whose representatives are here to monitor the accurate implementation of the system.
WBBM Steve Grzanich is monitoring the vote in Copenhagen and joins us now on the newsline. Steve, explain what we're seeing here and hearing.
To all of us who are listening in Chicago today, because we've not been through this before, but I think what they're doing is they're picking and coordinating numbers to the city names so that when the actual secret balloting begins, it'll be a number that'll be assigned to the city. So for instance, Chicago will be number 4, Rio will be number 7. These are these little balls that they drew, and it'll have the number next to it probably, not the name of the city. So further complicating the whole process. I think my understanding of how the vote is going to work is a secret ballot, and it'll be electronic.
OC Committee. WBBM News Time, 10:16.
Find thousands of new everyday low prices on things you use every day at Dominick's. Get everything on your list all